Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We are coming to you from Chicopee, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, and joining me is Holyoke's very own local historian and creator of the historical tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Cologne. He offers both public and private tours, as well as presentations of the local canal systems, reservoirs, cemeteries, and churches, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke, South Hadley, and Chicopee, Mass. Now you actually lead these tours and give these presentations yourself, is that correct?
Yes, and this particular mill is right on the canal system.
And today he'll be educating us on the Massachusetts Screw Company. So what are the origins of the Massachusetts Screw Company?
All right, James Newton, one of the four Newton brothers that came to Holyoke, came in thinking, what does Holyoke need? And he realized that he had a lumber yard, and he had a pulp mill, and he helped build wire mills, and he had a paper company going. He said, what could all those use? Oh, it'd be a screw company. So he started up the Massachusetts Screw Company in 1873. It's the 150th year anniversary now, 2023. And he wanted to make a successful company like he always did, and he succeeded. So, what we're going to cover is what became of the company through the years and how to change over, and that includes by location, and how was the production handled at these mills, and then what became of these locations that they were at. Did they disappear, so forth.
And what did become of the years and where was it located?
What happened through the years, it changed location. It was one of the first mills ever in the Holyoke Water Power Innovation Mill that was started on Cabot Street between the first and second level canal. So the Holyoke Water Power Company was smart. They realized all these mills were here, but they didn't see many small mills around or startup mills. And so they started their own gigantic mill that could house small mills. And one of the companies that started up was by James Newton, a small screw company. He had no idea if this company would ever work. He knew about the other companies succeeded under him, but he didn't know what was happening. So he had there were three parts to this innovation mill on Cabot Street. Two of the parts paralleled the canal, and one paralleled Cabot Street itself. And he went to the portion that paralleled Cabot Street. He took up a pretty decent portion of that. And so for about 10 years, from about 1873 to 1883, he had his company work there, and they developed products. His products were both wooden screws and metal screws. And you got to remember, a screw basically has two parts. It has the threaded part, and it has the head where you can turn it into position. So he had a company that could make this, put them together, and have a screw, whether it was wooden or metallic. And through the years, it actually changed. After 10 years, it moved down to right next to Farapaka, near the second level canal, only about maybe 200 feet from his old location to the north. And he started up his own building, and the production was easy. And we're going to talk about that after we talk about the locations. The production was pretty easy because you only had two parts. Now, he stayed there in that new location from 1883 to about the year 1910. And then it started changing entirely. The company itself seems to have gone away entirely. Maybe pressure from other companies outside of Holyoke was too much, and they knew enough to get rid of this company. But the last question is, I'm going to mention what happened at this location.
So quickly, before we continue with the rest of our interview, just to fill our listeners in, if you want to sign up for any of his various tours or find out any more information, you can check out his website at holyokecanaltour.org. And there he has both videos of the various stops along each shore, and also past and present photos of the historical sites throughout as well. And if you are interested in setting up a private tour, you can email him directly at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. And they are perfect for fun and educational outdoor activities for the whole family, or for your group parties, especially the special occasions to get together. And they're also good just for getting outdoors for the day. So, how was the production handled at the mill?
Okay, at the mill itself, production was handled in the following way. The head of the screw, which is the top, which is the part you put the screwdriver into, was made on the first floor of the production site, which is only 2 floors. And then it was 3 floors. And then the second floor up, they would make the spiral part of the screw. And on there, thus you would have the head and you would have the spiral going along. Now, you would bring it up to the 3rd floor, which is the last floor, and there you take off all the shavings that were extra. So you have all these screws, you go through them and pull off any extra metal that's on there. You don't want to sell it with these around. And then you also check them and then start to pack them, and that's your stock you send out. So the production was fairly easy. Of course, it's a lot easier than making paper, a lot easier than making fibers like silk and wool. So it was easy when all the materials are right there anyways. And you can see when any competition, you might be put out of business very quickly. I think that happened.
So what has become of these locations?
Okay, both locations are still there. The Holyoke Water Power Innovation Mill is still there. It's with new companies inside of it. And along the way, it made a lot of small companies reach up to higher levels, which is exactly what they had it for. And Ampad, for instance, started there. Buchanan and Bolton might have started there. Crocker started there. So a lot of paper companies along the way started there, and that's great. So it did its job. The other location it moved to, not very far away at all, the Massachusetts Screw Company stayed there from the 1883 to maybe the first decade of the 1900s. And then that location started to change over. The reason why is the company went out of business somehow, and you then had that prime space right between the first and second level canal. And what came in? Well, probably about 1910 came in the photo engraving company, and in the same building, the Ford Auger Bit Company. One made bits for screws, and the other one was a photograph company. And then another company came in that was very standard to Holyoke, and that was sometime in 1930. The Far Alpaca Company bought the building and used it as storage shed. And Far Alpaca is the most far-flung company around Holyoke. It had at least 7 different sites it used, and 3 of them were production sites. So them taking over this building was no big deal. And then that building was taken down and was changed over into a chemical company at some time. So a lot of great uses have been put at this place, and it's changed greatly through the years.
So thank you, Robert, for educating us on your tours, and we want to thank our listeners for tuning in. You can also tune into a large selection of podcasts and much more at his website. That's holyokecanaltour.org. And again, you can email him directly for private tours or to inquire about anything else at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. And be sure to keep an eye out for his upcoming 2024 season tours and more as they become available. Thank you.